Canelo Alvarez recently told the media that he plans to take it easy in his fight against Edgar Berlanga. Canelo feels confident that he will win this fight without having to push himself too hard. He thinks it's better not to overexert himself for a match he believes is already in the bag. Edgar Berlanga didn't take Canelo's comments well at all. He said that Canelo's attitude and remarks only make him more determined to prove himself. Berlanga feels that Canelo's confidence is just adding fuel to his own drive to win, and he's ready to show everyone that he can rise to the challenge despite Canelo's easygoing approach. He knows that I have skills, he's probably doubting that too, and that I don't hit hard. He's 100% doubting my fighting IQ and experience. He thinks it's a cakewalk for him, and that he's just going to walk in and make $35 to $40 million against a younger guy. When Berlanga spoke those words in boxing scene, his whole vibe shifted. He went from being laid back to someone who looked ready to tear into his opponent. Honestly, who could blame him? People have been mocking him for fighting easy opponents, and now he's set to face a beast like Canelo. That's no small challenge, and if things go wrong, it could really hurt his reputation. Facing Canelo is like stepping into the ring with a living legend. Berlanga knows this fight is huge, and one wrong move could leave a lasting mark on his record. But instead of backing down, he's fired up and ready to prove everyone wrong. Berlanga seems to be losing control, and it's not just me saying that. Many boxing pros believe he's heading toward a fight he is almost certain to lose. Even those who support him think he's pouring too much effort into a battle against someone as tough as Canelo. But despite all of that, Berlanga doesn't seem to care. He's fueled by his own determination, and he's made it clear that the fire inside him just won't go out. From what we've seen, Berlanga's passion for this fight is undeniable. He's training harder than ever, and you can tell he wants to prove his critics wrong. It's almost like he's using their doubts as motivation, pushing himself to fight harder, train longer, and give everything he has. That kind of drive is rare, especially when so many people are expecting him to fail. But is that enough? While it's admirable that Berlanga refuses to back down, the reality is he's facing an uphill battle. Canelo is not just any opponent. He's a seasoned champion with experience that Berlanga lacks. He thinks it's a walkthrough, but he's going to walk into a brick wall. He's going to see something different. It is what it is. He can have that mindset, but he's going to get fucked if he goes into the fight with that kind of mindset. He's going to get fucked up. It's just more fire for me to win and whoop his ass. Now, everyone seems to understand why Berlanga is so angry at Canelo, but what really fueled his rage was when Canelo openly dismissed the idea that Berlanga had a strong battle IQ. This disrespect hit Berlanga hard. During their press conference, Berlanga was determined to prove that he could outsmart Alvarez in the ring with his boxing intelligence. He was firm in saying that he had what it took to outthink Canelo, but the response he got was far from respectful. Canelo couldn't help but laugh at the idea. To him, it was almost amusing that someone like Berlanga, who had never fought for a world title and only defeated mid-level fighters, would claim to outsmart him in the ring. The thought that Berlanga, with his limited experience at the highest level, could somehow outwit a seasoned champion like Canelo seemed impossible to Alvarez. The most important thing in boxing is the mind. Boxing is not physical. I can grab a guy who is 250 pounds and hits like a brick wall, but break him down with my mental IQ. You have to understand that IQ is everything in this sport. You have to be smart in that ring and how you're setting up the opponent to break them down and drown them in the later rounds, explained Berlanga. Well, that might be true, but let's not forget that Alvarez is a 4-division champion with 19 years of professional experience. He's fought 496 rounds against some of the best fighters in the world, while Berlanga has only been in 72 rounds over the past 8 years. Comparing their experience makes Berlanga's bold words seem a bit hard to believe. People are wondering if Berlanga is extremely confident or if he's just out of his mind. Many fans are scratching their heads at Berlanga's claims. With such a huge difference in experience, it seems like Berlanga is either setting himself up for a huge surprise or has a strategy that no one can see coming. But with Canelo's track record, it's hard to imagine anyone with less experience being able to handle him, let alone beat him. Berlanga's confidence might be misplaced, and it's making fans question if he truly understands the challenge ahead. If Berlanga goes into this fight with that kind of attitude, thinking he can outbox and outsmart a seasoned fighter like Canelo, he might not last a single round. Canelo's experience, power, and skill could overwhelm Berlanga, and many believe it's only a matter of time before reality hits. It's going to take more than confidence for Berlanga to survive in the ring with Canelo. Canelo Alvarez is the clear favorite to win when he faces off against rising star Berlanga on September 14th, a date chosen to honor Mexican Independence Day. This is a special day for Canelo, as he often fights on big Mexican holidays like Cinco de Mayo, making it a tradition. The fight has garnered a lot of attention, not only because of the date, but also because of the interesting matchup between the two fighters. Berlanga is a knockout artist from Brooklyn, New York, and many are curious to see how he will handle someone as experienced as Canelo. Even though he has an impressive record, Berlanga has not faced anyone quite like Canelo before. The pressure will be on for him to prove that he can compete at the same level as one of the greatest boxers in the world. Let's take a look at what some of the biggest names in boxing think about the upcoming fight. One of the most talked about predictions comes from Leonard Ellerbe, who was once the partner of Floyd Mayweather but was allegedly fired. Ellerbe has been in the boxing game for years and knows what he's talking about. He confidently says that Canelo Alvarez has nothing to fear going into this fight. According to him, Canelo is at the peak of his career, both in skill and in making money.
He's at the top of his game. He's making a shitload of money doing what he do. And that's putting his craft to use and entertaining the fans at the highest level.
Ellerbe believes that Canelo is too experienced and skilled for Berlanga to handle. With everything Canelo has accomplished, Ellerbe doesn't think there's any reason to doubt that Canelo will come out on top. In his view, Berlanga might be undefeated, but he's never faced someone as tough and smart as Canelo in the ring. Now, that's one great personality favoring Canelo. But what about Oscar De La Hoya, who recently had some beef with the Mexican champ? De La Hoya didn't hold back when he criticized Canelo's upcoming fight, calling it lame. Instead of supporting Canelo, De La Hoya decided to attend a UFC event, showing just how much tension there is between them. This isn't the first time they've clashed either. Earlier this year at a press conference, both Canelo and De La Hoya exchanged some pretty heated words, throwing accusations at each other. Their feud didn't stop at words, though. De La Hoya even went as far as sending Canelo a cease and desist letter, claiming that Canelo made defamatory statements about him. It's clear that their once solid partnership has turned sour, and they've become rivals outside the ring. But that's a whole different story, one we could dive into some other time. What's interesting now is how De La Hoya, despite their differences, still has something to say about Canelo's abilities. Here's what the Golden Boy had to share.
That takes me to Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14th. Now he claims he has a whole country behind him. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro.
Now, that must have stung. Berlanga proudly claims that he has strong support from his people in Puerto Rico. But then, Oscar De La Hoya came out and said something that really hurt. De La Hoya denied that Berlanga is truly backed by Puerto Rico, and even said that he himself is more connected to Puerto Rican roots than Berlanga is. Imagine how Berlanga must have felt hearing that. It's like someone saying that your own people don't really support you, or that you're not as much a part of your own culture as someone else. It's a big blow to his pride, especially when it's someone like De La Hoya, who used to be such a big name in boxing. But right now, Berlanga has more important things to focus on. He needs to concentrate on his fight with Canelo, not the opinions of those around him. So, what do you think? Will Berlanga keep his perfect record after facing Canelo, or will he experience defeat for the first time? Please let me know down below.